girl, Lindsay Joy, right here, reporting live for YTV from the grounds of the British Council. And today we're talking about the network of women in broadcasting. Now, let me tell you, if I say I'm excited to see this, being one myself, you have no idea. And I can't wait to share with you everything that goes on down here. So you have to stick with me so we can enjoy this together. Let's get into this.
Look at us.
Oh my God.
And we tell them that we belong to the network of women in broadcasting.
Tell them.
The difference will be very clear. We've got the class, we've got the intelligence, we've got what it takes to bring the news and the truth as well. Let's put our hands together! Honored guests and valued stakeholders, ladies and gentlemen, as we stand at the threshold of a new era for women in Ghana's media landscape, I speak to you today, not just as the president of the Network of Women in Broadcasting, but as someone who envisions a transformed future for our industry. The future we aim to create through Nowib extends far beyond the conventional boundaries of a professional association. What we are building is a powerful ecosystem where women in broadcasting can thrive professionally while finding the holistic support they need as individuals. Our vision encompasses a media landscape where women's voices shape national discourse, where female perspectives inform policy decisions, and where gender balance in leadership is the norm rather than the exception. Nowib represents this dual commitment to professional excellence and to personal well-being. We recognize that the challenges women face in broadcasting don't end when we leave the studio or the newsroom. The pressures of balancing career advancement with family responsibilities, navigating gender-based expectations, and overcoming societal barriers require a support system that addresses the whole person. This is why our network integrates a robust social component. We will create spaces for mentorship that go beyond technical skills to include life coaching, mental health support, and work-life balance strategies. To our stakeholders, media houses, regulatory bodies, international organizations, and corporate partners, we extend our hands in partnership. Nowib seeks to mutually beneficial relationships that serve both our members and our objectives. By investing in women broadcasters, you invest in ethical journalism. By building our capacity to global standards, you strengthen Ghana's media ecosystem. By supporting female voices in broadcasting, you enhance the diversity of perspectives that inform public opinion. Together, we will develop a cadre of media professionals who hold power accountable, who uphold the highest journalistic standards, and who ensure that Ghana's development path reflects the needs and aspirations of all its citizens. The women of Nowib stand ready to be trained, to be challenged, and to rise to international standards of excellence. We are prepared to be the ethical backbone of Ghana's media, asking the difficult questions, investigating with integrity, and reporting with courage.
President of the Network of Women in Broadcasting, Mame Biama Akwafu, other national executives and patrons of the network, representatives from the British High Commission, representatives from the Media Foundation for West Africa, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, permit me to stand on all further protocols eloquently established by the MC and say good morning to you all. From the outset, I would like to commend the executives for mobilizing women in media across Ghana and for establishing such a formidable group which seeks to address challenges women face in the media space. I perceive this as the biggest and most vibrant gathering of women in the Ghanaian media. Ayuko. Women, for centuries, had no place at the decision-making table. Neither were their voices loud enough to challenge the status quo. As we say in our parlance, the Sewa Koto kind of woman. Over the past 4 decades, this narrative has been on a steady pace of change, with more women, institutions, and policymakers recognizing the relevance of women's voices and the impact of women in development across board. Today, we have gathered here to celebrate the gallant women in media whose voices are bold and echoes hope and resilience for the younger generation to follow. Although there has been significant progress, women in media continue to grapple with the following challenges outlined in these 3 credible reports. Low representation in leadership positions, with women holding only 12% of executive director and editor-in-chief positions in African media outlets. Also challenged with sexism and harassment, as reported by the African Women in Media report of 2020. Underrepresentation in newsrooms, where women make up only 30% of journalists in African newsrooms, coupled with limited access to resources, as reported by the International Women's Media Foundation in 2019. Limited opportunities for advancement, stereotyping, and bias, as reported by UNESCO in 2019. On the other hand, there are some opportunities for women in African media. The growth of digital media in Africa has created new opportunities for women to produce and distribute their own content. There is a growing focus on women's empowerment in Africa, which has created new opportunities for women in media to cover topics related to gender and development. There are also a growing number of networking and mentorship opportunities available for women in African media which support their career development. As we come together to form an alliance to strengthen our stance to propel our progress and welfare in the media, I believe it is prudent to explore and capitalize on various grants and support provided to women in media by the African Women in Media, International Women's Media Foundation, UNESCO's Women in Media Initiative, and the International Fund for Public Interest Media. I commend the brains behind this network, and I hope to see it grow stronger, bigger, and evolve in more beneficial and impactful ways.
Stand and learn about the media landscape. My knowledge of Chui is really minimal, so I have a Kwabara Madase is about all I have at the moment, so bear with me. But anyway, I'm going to be here for a few years. I'm the head of communications. I'm working closely with Abigail, who's been working with us for about 10 plus years. So I think this is a great initiative, and we really look forward to working with you in the months and years ahead. So thank you.
Today marks a very significant moment in Ghana's media landscape. We are officially outdooring network of women in broadcasting. The rationale behind Network of Women in Broadcasting stems from the numerous challenges of women in the media landscape. Having worked for years, experienced the good, the bad, and the ugly, we think this is the right time to put women in broadcasting together so that our voices will not just be heard, but our problems will be solved as well.
Wonderful. So we caught literally the president of the Network of Women in Broadcasting, and of course we have to have a conversation. Hi, ma'am.
Hello.
Okay, so today being the launch, how are you feeling?
Oh, if it was to be you, if you were in my shoes,
I'll be joking.
how would you feel? I feel so excited and I feel so happy that finally we have been able to unveil Nowib, that is Network of Women in Broadcasting. And the vision is clear as we are standing for all women in broadcasting, those on radio, those on TV and online, so that we will be able to propagate, we'll be able to mentor, we'll be able to inspire all other young women who are also upcoming. So this is the objective. As we have launched today, we are going to set off with organizing workshops and other trainings for women in broadcasting in the media. Yes.
Right, so of course this is exciting, this is great, and we can see the potential for the upcoming youth, right? But how do anybody join if they want to? Maybe they're not a part of what's happening today, but they see it, they're like, wow, I want to be a part of this. How exactly do they get to join?
It's not anything difficult. As we have unveiled today, we are going to come up with a form that if you are interested, if you are in the broadcasting industry, women in broadcasting, not any other media, but women in broadcasting. So if you are a woman and you are in the broadcasting industry, you are warmly welcome. We'll give you a form to fill and then a little fee to pay.
How do we reach you then?
You go to our website, we have our contacts and our details there. When you call 24/7, you'll be able to get in touch with us.
Thank you so much for spending time with us.
We are here today for the official launch of the Network of Women in Broadcasting. Over the period, we've seen similar organizations in pursuit of welfare, in pursuit of capacity building, and among others for women in the Ghanaian media space. But by far, in my perspective, this is the most organized and the largest group of women in broadcasting that I have seen. I think it's very important because the statistics are not so favorable. On the African continent, the women in leadership, as in editors-in-chief or at managerial level, are only 12%. And when it comes to women or female journalists in the newsroom on the continent, they are only 30%. And when you are a minority, you can imagine the implications when it comes to decision making, when it comes to conditions of service, equal work for equal pay, among other peculiar challenges that women may be facing in the media space. But there is something about collective bargaining. If you have a group, it has leadership, it makes you stronger and gives you the impetus that we want to advocate for better conditions of service. We want to advocate against harassment at the workplace, be it sexual harassment, be it stereotyping or biases. You will have the force of the collective behind you to pursue some of those actions. And for those who are intimidated to come out and talk, to complain for fear of losing their jobs and other implications, the group will really empower them to come out there and seek better for themselves at the workplace. Just 2 days ago, there was an incident at one of the radio stations where some thugs were sent to send a female DJ out. I was so impressed at the level of swiftness that the leadership of this group issued a public statement condemning the act and also pursuing justice for the female journalists involved. So yes, so we are only supporting them with the advocacy, with guidance, and serving as familiar voices in the media space that can call for support and help for the network of women in
So as
broadcasting.
they have made this move, is there anything that, seeing that this is the most organized, you believe can be done to aid them become more powerful than them being united?
Absolutely. There are so many resources around the world and on the continent that they may not know about. For the benefit of serving as a policymaker and attending conferences, we will share those networks with them so that they can reach out and establish some bilateral relations with other similar associations in other countries and attend conferences to build capacity so that they can come back and transfer that knowledge to their compatriots in the system. There is also a funding support, for instance, from the International Fund for Public Interest Media, established, I think, since 2015. They actually give disbursements to media houses for sustainability issues and to address some of these challenges. So I believe even for funding, and UNESCO also has an initiative for women in media, among others. They will be able to tap into those resources if they have to leverage on the network of friends or who are not in the media but are familiar with this kind of advocacy. That's why you saw that they've made Joyce Bawa Mokhtari presidential advisor and aide to the president a patron, and they've made me a patron. Although we are not journalists, but I believe they will benefit from our collective knowledge and experience to see how best we can scale up the activities of this organization.
This is a great network, knowing that we have
Absolutely.
such powerful voices backing us.
Absolutely.
It's going somewhere great. So your final words for anybody that could be joining this anywhere in the future?
I will encourage all female media practitioners in the newsroom or on the field, anywhere, to join. There is strength in numbers, and it's good to belong to a group. Imagine if you are marrying in a church, you are not a member of the choir or Marco or any recognized grouping. The prominence is different as compared to someone who belongs to a group, who is an usher, who has been very resourceful and has put themselves out there to do one or two activities. So I will encourage every female media practitioner, journalist, technical person to join the group.
Now, if we're talking about the world of broadcasting, you definitely need to know about this name, and that is Madam Fati Shaibu. We definitely need to catch a word from her on how excited, like what she envisions for this network that has been launched today. Hi.
Hello.
Okay, so of course this must be ecstatic news for you,
Yes.
being in this industry for so long. What
Yes.
does this really mean?
This means that women are going to have a platform to express themselves and be able to talk about some of the challenges they face in the media industry. One of which would be the fact that when you go into media houses, it is almost impossible to see women in management. Almost all the stations you find more women in the beginners level, intermediate, but to get to management is usually a challenge, and I do not know if it is an issue of qualification, an issue of experience, because I see a lot of women, and the women you saw here, I have known most of them, in the media industry for years and years and years, and I know that they are more than qualified to head some of these stations, head some newsrooms, head programs and all that. So I believe that this organization is going to speak about some of these issues, bring them to fore, and also ignite discussion on why it is so. And I believe that we would also be able to nurture the young girls and women who would want to go into the media, so they have the mindset that you do not have to settle at the beginners level, at the intermediate level. You need to strive and conquer and take your seat at the table where decisions are made.
I hope the other participants, when it comes to broadcasting, are ready, because we are ready to shake the table and get things settling in the right place, as you just heard from Madam Fati. But if anybody is now experiencing you for the first time, what is your encouragement to them with regards to the network of women in broadcasting?
If we didn't have a voice before, we do now. So know that you can always reach out. Together, we can conquer more than we even think about. If you are alone, your voice might not go that far. So why don't you join us? You can join the network and let us work together.
I have right here with me the General Secretary with me, and Mrs. T, my one and only. Hi, Mrs. T.
Hi, LJ.
Okay, so today we definitely launched the Network of Women in Broadcasting, and if I'm telling you, I have literally powerhouses, personally, my experience. So we are here to find out if somebody wants to be a part of this, how exactly do they go about it?
Okay, so the Network of Women in Broadcasting is actually something that is beyond Accra. It's nationwide. So we would want people to leverage social media. They just go on our Facebook page and other social pages, Network of Women in Broadcasting. They'll find us there. Send us message. We have an able person who would continue the conversation with the person. It's as simple as that. From wherever you are, you don't need to spend so much money. Just go on our social media platform, send us a message, and we'll continue the conversation.
The General Secretary. Okay, give it to us.
0244 90 62 35.
Okay.
Send us a message, and then we will vet you because you have to go through a certain process, and then we add you if you are qualified.
So it's not just a simple process of I called, I'm a part of it.
No, we have to
go
ask
through.
a series of questions: where you work, what you do, your expectations of joining, and all that. Then you go through all that process, then we add you.
YTV has done her best to ensure that every single female that could come in contact with this, even if you're a man watching me, share this with another woman that you know would do great in the broadcasting network to know about this, okay? Because in numbers we have power, okay? And we are more powerful when you are a part of us. My name is LJ and I'm signing out.
YTV, yearn for more.